Hello folks, welcome back. This is going to be part 3. I'm going to show you my mess ups. Again, this isn't the stuff that I am strongest at, so let's figure this stuff out together. So the first thing I'm going to do, what I want to do now is add a story. I'm going to just click on this page and I'm going to add a link to the story in this space here, but I'll do that in a minute. So I'm going to go up where it says interface. I'm going to go down to add a new story. It says story 1 and I'm going to click OK. It's asking if I want to pick one of these, which I don't for now. I'm going to go to add a blank page. And this opens up automatically. And what it's expecting me to do is select the variables that I'm going to include in my story. So I'm going to start out by, and you don't have to hold the shift key down or anything. I'm just clicking on the items that I want to show up in this first version of the model. I think that should be it, and I'm going to tell this OK. And eventually what I want is I want the whole model to show up in here, so I might have to readjust size and stuff. I'll do that in a minute. So I can see that I have forgotten one link. I'm going to click on change my visible structure, and then I will click on this information link, and I will go back. And I'm wondering if I can add a template into here. And I'm not seeing it right now. So the first thing I'm going to do is go down and shrink this to a degree. So that looks pretty good. I want people to be able to see it, but I don't want it to be too big. I might have to go in and rework things. And I can adjust. Oh, that's pulling it down, so it's near the top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to X squared, and I'm going to do a select all, and I'm going to drag this down just a little bit. I want some space up here. Now I'm going to click on to go back to my interface windows, and you can see I have more of a gap because what I'm thinking I want up in my top right corner is going to be my logo. So I would like to keep that in this model. And we'll see if we can do that. Over here on the right for now, let's see, I found my mouse. There we go. I could do show animations, which shows the behavior in the variables. And I think that's all I'll do. I might come back. You could put equations in here so people can see the equations. I could include my units. There's a variety of things I could do depending on who my audience is. I could check a variable to scroll in on. Don't allow user to scroll visible structure. I might change that in a minute. But I am here now. So I've clicked on this. I've gone back to view story. And again, I'm looking, can I bring a template in? It says template, no template. So I'm going to go with my plain base now and click on that, and now I have my JMU logo that we had developed earlier up here in the top left-hand corner. So I have that, and again, I'm going to want to add a graph. So I'm going to add a graph to this. And again, I'll want to start adjusting this graph, and I'm going to go down to my wrench, and it's the years that are messed up, right? And that's because of the number on the x-axis. So I'm just going to, there we go. That's the same I had on the other page. And I'm just going to put population on here. And I will go back to my graph, click the plus, and throw in my population. I'd actually like this to be a little bit larger. So I'll click, oh, this is defaulted to 12 for some reason. Let me make that 18. It's bold already. I'm good on that. I'll go back to my wrench and I'm going to go down and show grid. and it's going to be 7, and I want to make it 5, and I'm going to go up here for my Y labels, and I will make those 5. And I'm trying to remember, do I want to make this a comparative graph or not? I might for now. And we'll see. I can do comparative. And then I want to have numbers. And the reason this is showing up down here is because when I'm clicking on the comparative, I'd run simulations in the earlier video, and it's saving that overshoot and collapse that was closer to the actual data. I just want to see comparisons here. So what I have to do is I have to add some buttons in here. I already made 2 buttons, so I'm going to go back and steal those. So I'm going to click back and go to my interface. I'll click on this graph, and I can click on these 2, and I'm just going to do a copy. Then I'm going to go up to where it says interface, and I'm going to go to story 1. I'll click on this, and now I'm going to paste these in. So I have my story 1, and there's probably going to be a few other buttons I'm going to want to add. I know I'm telling a story with multiple pages, so I'm going to have buttons that are going to tell me to go to back or forward in the system. So I'm going to do a copy and a paste. Put one here, and let me just, I have this selected, and I'm going to change this behavior. So I can click on this, and down here I have navigation. Navigate to story. I think that's what I want. And this is going to be page 1 of the story. So I'm in page 1. I might want to go back and not go to page 1 of the story. But I'm going to click on the type and navigate to page. And instead of the home page, I'm going to go to page 2. And that's lined up. You can see that blue line. And I'm going to change the font on this. Or not the font, but the background. I'm going to make this black. And what I'm going to do is I want to name this previous is what it is. So click on my wrench. And up here I can have a label. And I'm going to go with, I'm just hitting the less than and previous. Let's see how that turns out. Maybe I want my buttons bigger here. There, that's nice. So I'm going to double click on this because I've changed the size of the buttons. I want to be consistent with this. 127 by 65. I'll go in here and it's going to be 127. And the height is going to be 65. And let me just grab a little more space. A little more space. And I'm going to go and grab, I think it was 157 by 65, 127, excuse me. 127. And it was by 65. Let me click on this. 127. Oh, I still got it at 157. And there we go. And grab a little more space. And this will take me back. I know I'm going to want a next button, so I'm going to just copy this one and paste. See how this fits in here in size. Trying to match these up so I have a little space between them. I think I'm okay for now. And instead of previous, I'm going to go and I'm going to name this as next. And then I will give it, whoops, not equal to, but just greater than. Hold the shift key down. And then I got my next and my previous buttons. And I'm going to add a few things additionally in here. One of the things I can see, I don't have this balancing loop labeled in here. That's a mistake. So I am going to select this, and I want to go back. I got to figure out where do I go back. Oh, edit story items, change visible structure, and I hadn't selected this one. So I've done that. I'm going to click OK. And my B1 feedback loop is in there now. And I think I am pretty much set. So I should be able to run this and reset this from here. And I'm going to want a few other things. One of the things I'm going to go up to is I should have a button that would show me what the time is doing here. And not the span bar. Oh, it's this over here on the left. You can see what I'm selecting now. This is display time control. And I'm just going to move this around so that it's in here. And I'm going to select all of these. And I'm just using my arrow key. I just want to move them slightly down. And then I'll do the same for this that it's selected, just down a little bit. And I prefer to have this as blue or green or something. I'm going to make it blue. There we go. And there's some other things I want to add, but right now I can go up and do my presentation mode, and I'm going to hit reset. And now I am going to run this. And you can see how this runs. If I want to go back to my previous, I can go to this page. And again, now I'm sort of stuck because I can't go back to that previous page. So I'm going to hit an escape. I am in this window now. I'm just going to click on this and copy and paste my run button. And I'll take all the room I want down here. And this will be my system story is what it is. So I'll rename, or it's going to be a navigation button, so no longer the run. So I'll just click on the Stella run, and I want to navigate to a story. So I'm going to click on the navigation to a story. It's story 1, and it's going to be page 1. So I am in pretty good shape there. I'm going to relabel this. So this is going to be system structure. I will click OK. And I'm just going to change the font on this and maybe make it red or something. I wanted a different font color. And see how this works. There we go. So I have system structure. So now I'm going to go up and do my presentation mode. And now if I click on the system structure, it takes me back. And what you should be noticing is the behavior is different here. Right? I've got the overshoot and collapse. When I go to my system structure, it is S-shaped now. So if I hit the reset button and run, I can only get S-shaped, and it's because this structure is only operating in the story and is generating this S-shaped structure. If you recall, this is the S-shaped structure that we had built. We got the reinforcing loop, which is growing exponentially in the beginning, and then we have the secondary loop that is kicking in. And I'm going to do one more thing here. I'm going to escape this by hitting my escape key. And this is a little different than is going to be in the learning guide. I'm going to add another variable to this. And it is going to be the net growth. So it can't be comparative anymore. So I'm going to click on and throw in the net growth. And this is the net growth for the population. The scales are messing this up, so I'll put this in the right axis. And you know, I'm not going to do this now. I see it's just taking up too much room. Although the shift and loop dominance occurs when this becomes flat. Your first derivative is 0. If I drew a line right down here, I would know this is where I can... Oh, I'm moving this around. I'm clicking in the wrong spot. So let me go to my presentation mode. Presentation window, and what I could do now if I wanted to keep this is I could draw this back, and right at this point, right where this is flattening out, this is where it is shifting loop dominance around 2009. I will just hit the run button and let it go. And now I'm going to hit the escape key and I'm going back. I actually like this graph, but I don't want to here. I want to do the comparative graph. So I've got the graph selected now. I can get rid of my net growth. I can go up. There's a plus and a minus sign here. I can add another graph to this graph. It changes a lot of the things that I have to go back in and fix. So I'm going to go to my wrench. I know I want it to be 7 and 5. And if I go down, I can do my show grid. I know I want that to be 7 and 5. I will go back, and it's not going to be comparative, but I'll add my population in. Okay, and now I'm going to add in, hit the plus sign, and I'm going to add in this net growth and tell it to be okay. And I need to label this. And I'm jumping around too much. Let me go back to this and put the net growth in the right axis. There we go. I will put labels on this as numbers. And it says here pages, and that's what this page 2 is. It's in the way, and I don't have a label on this. So I've clicked on my graph. I'm going to go up to my title, and this is going to be population and net growth. And I will click OK. And let me click on my wrench. Oh, that went back to the 12. I'll make that 18. And there we go. So the one other thing I want to change, I don't like this, the page number there is okay. I could click between those two. But I could have tabs. I think I like the tabs better is what it is. And these tabs are going to show up on both graphs. My other option is to have it as a drop down. And I think, yeah, I'm going to go with the tabs. And now I'm going to go to my presentation window. And if I click on the population, I move back to the other graph. So I could move between more than one graph in this page. And then if I hit the reset button and run, not testing any policies or anything here. The idea is to be telling the story of what type of behavior is being generated by this structure. And that's the important thing here. So I'll probably want to write and have a description in here. So I'm going to hit escape again. And as you can see from the fade, I completely messed up and had to figure some things out and didn't want to start over again at minute 17. So I want to put text in here, and I'm going to go up to this thought button and click on that. And I'm going to click where I want it to go, and I get this yellow box. I'm just going to open it up, but over here on the right, I'll make it rich text. I'm going to click here, and I'm going to paste. I've already written the description out I wanted. Didn't want to have you watch me type this stuff up. So, and it's coming in bold where I want it to and stuff. I think I'm going to want the padding at 12. Give me a little extra room around this. And let's see how big I can make this and see if the text can fit in without having to scroll. Oh, it's pretty close. I think the scroll button is going to be there no matter what. That's okay. So I put this stuff in, and now what I want to do is I'm going to go over to the right, and it says buttons. It says hide button, and I'm going to click on the hide button so that it you can see the button. And I'm going to label my button, and I'm going to call it instructions. I think that should be good for now. And I'm not sure where it's going to show up, so I'm going to click OK, and I'm going to go to my presentation window. And there is the button. It's hidden behind the text is what it is. So I can hit an escape now, and I'll just move this temporarily, and I'm going to pull this button down into the side. And then I'll bring this back. And now I'll click on and make this instructions so that it is bigger and fits just in here. I'm going to go now to my model settings here. I'm going to make this 18 like the others. Let's make sure I was thinking I was making this 18, but I think I've made this 18. I think I can keep that at 12. And text settings, I want my button settings is what I'm really looking for right now. So let's see, pop-up text settings. Let's see if this, oh, there it goes. Now it's increased this. I'm going to make it bold. I am going to keep it dark. Again, my corner radius. I want rounded corners on this. Keep it at 15. And I'm going to change the color on this. And let me make this also my background color. I'll try to get it so it's close to or matches that. Don't quite like that. What if I go with the flat background? And let me see. And just, there we go. So now I have my instructions in here. And now I can go to my user interface and present window. And now you can see I could click on my instructions and have the instructions. The secret is that you have to click outside of it to make it disappear. I could hit reset, I can hit run, I can see my instructions, I can move to different views. So anytime I'm clicking on this page, my instructions are going to disappear on me. That's what is occurring. I can go to this and test policies and then go back to my system story. So what I'm going to want to do is add additional structure to my system story now. So I'm going to add another story page. What I have to do is escape my presentation window. I'm going to click on the add page, and I have this material here. So this is from the model is what's occurring, and these are the things that are selected. And what I want to do is add on additional structure for the story. So I'm going to add this and this. Maybe I'll keep this in, this. Go to my carrying capacity. Yeah, and I will add these in. You notice this baseline consumption per person is the same thing as over here. It's ghosted in. So I've selected that, and I've added an additional feedback loop, so I'll capture that. I'll tell it OK. I can see that things are starting to get in the way of my graphs and stuff also. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump out of this and go back to x squared and see if I can grab some real estate. Oops. Grab some real estate. I'm going to hold the shift key down and pick on my source and just start moving this over to try to grab some additional space on my user interface. And this stuff will come in later, but I know what I want now, so now I can go back to the user interface. Oh, and I see I've missed a link here. I'm going to go to change visible structure, and I will click on this link. I will click OK. And I'm wondering if I can move this stuff over just a little bit. So I'm grabbing this position window here to move things over, and there I go. I can have room for my box here. And the other thing, or for my graph, sorry, I think I'm going to want to use the same graph. So I can go to the left and click on this, and I'm going to click, and I'm going to hold the shift key, and I'm going to grab all this stuff. I want it to be the same. The instructions will change, but that's okay for now. So I'm going to just do a copy, and I'm going to go to that page 2, and I'm going to paste. And let's just move this stuff around. And so let me click and hold. Now one of the things that, whoops, I'm trying to select things. Holding the shift key down to do this, I'm going to grab as much real estate as I can by going up. I realize I need to get more room here. So let's see if I can do, this is going to change. So I'm curious about that. So I have text for this page also. I'm going to go and grab that right now. So this is story part 2, and it's not going to be as great. I'm copying that. And when I select this, I'm going to go to my wrench in the bottom right-hand side. I'm going to go up. I want to get rid of all of this, just hitting the delete and the paste. And I think I have too much space. I can start tightening this stuff up. And now let's see what's going on. So I could go, I'll make this smaller, and it's going to have to scroll to tell the story, but that's okay. Or actually, I could tell the story by having it go over, because when I click, I'm going to see the structure. So maybe that's okay for now. I still want to try to move this stuff around. So I'm going to go back to my x squared. And let's see if I can buy some space. Oh, there's one other thing that I can do too. Other than buying space, I can make this smaller, right? So I bought some space that way. That's fine. And if I, let's see, I'm going to go to preview. It's got an idea of what I'm missing. If I click on the instructions now, it's the new instructions. It's good to see. So I am system structure. I'm going to go back. Oh, next to my previous. I'm sort of stuck now. So I've clicked on this. Now I'm going to go up to interface. I'm going to go to story because I jumped around. And I'm going to go to this first page, which I'm on. And on my next button, I now have, it says navigate to page 2. I want to navigate to story, and I'm going to navigate to page 2 of my story. So now this is fixed. And if this is going back to the previous navigation to page 2, I want it to go to story now. Navigate to the story page 1. So I can move back between those 2 pages. That's good. If I click on this, if I click on this previous, I want it to go back and navigate to story to page 1. And I've made a mistake now, I realize. This should go to navigate to page, not the home page, but page 2. So I'm good. This is going to the right place. I think I'm set with this page now. And the thing that I realize is going on is my story is not quite right, and it's fitting in. So what I can do here is on the zoom, I can make this a little bit smaller. It's a little too small, be hard to see. I want to use as much space as I possibly can, right? And I'll just go back a little bit, 50%, 45% seems to be right. So now I've got the story. I'm going to keep the same graphs. I'll probably want to add a graph that's going to include the resources at this point because they're going to be declining, right? So I could keep my population and stuff and click on this, and I want to make sure. So these arrow keys here, I can go over. Now I'm on the second one, and I'll add it in here. Now I'm going to hit the plus, and it adds this unknown graph. And I've got to go in and adjust this graph again. I know it's going to be 7 and 5. And if I go down and click on my grid, it's going to be 7 and 5. And I will show the, let me go back to my wrench. And I'm going to select a variable, and it's going to be the actual resources, right? So I've got the actual resources selected here, and I see this now. I want to grab some space, right? Probably grab some space there. And I want to select all of these, and I'm using the arrow key just to move them over. I want them to appear. There we go. And again, just trying to line things up. And I think I've just about got it now. It looks good. I've added structure to tell the story. I've added a new feedback loop. I'm going to go up and click on my preview at this point. I've got my instructions, and now I can run this, and I see how my resources, so I got to label this. It's coming up as unknown, population, and maybe I'm going to want population on this graph too. So I'm going to hit the escape, and I'll go to the wrench, and I should label this. If I go to the top, the title, I'm going to put population on here too. So population and resources. I'm going to go back to the graph. I'm going to add in my population. Click OK. So I'm okay with having them both in the same graph, but I lose the units is what's occurred, right? So one of the things that I'm going to do is if I go to my wrench, that's the X, I want to look for the Y-axis label and give Y-axis label is right here. And this is going to be people and resources. It's sort of two sets of units, right? But now I know what the units for these are. Again, I'm in the, I'll click on this again, so I'm in the wrench, and I want to have these so that they have labels. I will label them with numbers, the 1 and the 2. This appears to be relatively small. I'll click on this, it's at the 12 again. I'm going to make it 18. And I think I am good to go with this page. And now I'm still missing structure because I don't have the regeneration down here. So I want to add one new page. So I'm going to go to add page in my story. And I'm just going to hold the shift key down, and I'm going to select the new variables that I wish to add. And this is going to be everything is what it is, right? So I'm clicking, having trouble getting just that. Well, we'll come back to that in a second. And I'll add my initial population, my high variance, and I know I'm missing this link here. Okay, so I'm just going to give up for a second and go back. I've got everything except for that one link, which I am okay with. And now I'm going to go to change visible structure and see if I can grab it again, which I cannot do. So here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell it okay and go to x squared, and I am going to move this just slightly, and now I'm going to go back in, and I'm going to tell it to change visible structure. And now let's see if, now I can grab that. So now it's highlighted. And tell you what, I prefer going back. I'm going to click on the x squared, and it's already been selected. And there we go. And now if I go into my interface, I can see that I have it and it's in the right position, and I have adjusted these things. So now I want to add in the stuff that I had before. I'll go up to 2, and I'm going to grab the same graph. I am going to grab everything I want, and I'm just going to do a copy. I don't have to grab this yellow because the instructions will bring it. And I'm going to paste. And that is looking pretty good. I have to change the text in here. Click on this space and double click on this. And now I'll go to my wrench. I have the text in there. I know for the third one, I have the text I wanted to talk about. I'm copying that, and I'll get rid of this text. Delete, paste. And it must be the Word document I have it in. It's given me 2 spaces instead of 1. Got a 12. And if I click OK, I'm going to have to use the that bar on the side, the scrolling bar. And now what I have to fix is my previous. So if I click on the previous, it's taking me to page 1 when I wanted to go to page 2. There really is no next here, right? So I've run out of pages. So I'm going to relabel this back to interface. Let's see, does that fit? Back to interface, okay. And now I'm going to tell it to navigate to page. And this is going to navigate, it is navigating to page, and it's going to page 2, so it was going to the right place. So now I just have to start testing things to see if they work as advertised. So I can click on my instructions, I can use a scroll bar to understand what's going on. I can, let's jump back to the interface, that's where I want to go. System story, next, next. Whoops, that one's still off. So I'm going to hit escape. I'm going to go up to interface and go to story 1. And it was page 2. This next is going to itself. Oh, navigate to that page. It should be navigate to story and navigate to page 3 of the story. Now I think I have this right. And next, back to interface, structure, 1, 2, 3. And there I go. And I see that this stuff is highlighted. Oh, it's the new stuff that I've added in here. And now I can reset and I can run the model. You could actually put, variables in here that you could move and adjust to see it live in your story. But the idea is to be telling the story. And I'm noticing I have not labeled this feedback loop. That's my mistake. I'm going to hit the escape. I will select, I want to go, where am I now? I'm in story 3, edit story items. And I'm going to go to change visible structure. And, oh, it looked like I was missing this too. And the B3, 2 things. Click OK, and I have them in. And I think I am pretty good to go. I know here I could show a loop table, and it shows up here, right? And maybe I can move stuff around a little bit. And this is just showing me the different feedback loops. I'm getting this U feedback loop because that's the R1 actually. And if I don't like that, what I would do is I can go to the X squared. I can simulate the model. And, oh, it's saying R1 there. It must have been the policy that I had on. So I'm going to go to this. And now it's saying R1. I think I'm good to go. That's not something I'm going to worry about right now. I'll move these just, whoops, wrong thing. I'm hitting the escape button. At least I think I am. Going into edit. Going back to the story. And I think I'm fine-tuning this just a little too much for folks right now. I think this is good enough. This should get you everything. It should get you going. Hopefully this makes sense. Hopefully you're going to be much more creative than I have been in developing these user interfaces. And hopefully I will learn from you folks. Thanks. And that's it for this series. I'll see you in class. Bye.